children, we're just children, children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too, or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. One, two, three, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 5, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children, children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too, or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. 1, 2, 3, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. One, 2, 3, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. 1, 2, 3, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 5, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children.
So here we are on board the McLaren of the current SLR title charger Ever Snacks as we're heading down into turn 1 in Hungary, Budapest. 100-meter board is your brake point, heavy on the brakes, carrying as much off speed as you can, DRS activated, easy to slip on the exit there. Coming down just before or roughly at the 50-meter boards is the next tricky brake zone, dropping down to the third, guiding the car around, and on the throttle area it's possible flat out up the hill, and just as the curb starts on your right is kind of where you want to start thinking about a little dab on the brakes, not running too wide there or you will invalidate. Another tricky right-hander, catching that inside curve will send your car spinning. Just as the curb starts is your next brake zone for this tricky chicane. You want to avoid these sausage curbs. Little dab on the brakes, dropping down to the fourth, then short shifting up to fifth for this corner, again not running too wide. Flat out round the left-hander, then just as the curve again, a little lift on the throttle. Holding it in sixth. Just after the 100-meter boards is your neck brake zone, dropping it down to the third, short shifting up to fourth. Just at the bridge at the shadow here is your next braking zone, carrying as much speed as you can around. Easy to spin on the exit there. Just at the black box with the white line is your next brake turn-in point. Short shifting up on through the gears, DRS activated, and that completes the lap of Hungary.
Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. Today we are in Tier 3, we are in Hungary, and joining me there is Sonny. Hello Sonny.
Yeah. Hello guys, welcome to SLR Season 7. We are at Hungary and we're gonna, together with Fede, commentate Tier 3 for you guys. So
Yeah.
Hoping for a nice race, and let's have some fun today, shall we?
Yeah, probably. I mean, yesterday Tier 4 race, which I've commentated, was quite enjoyable. But you know, Hungary is not a track which there are a lot of fights, but yes, I mean, it was quite funny, the race, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, today we're in Tier 3 and looking for the standings, we have Motocrosser, which is in P1, 82 points, and after we have Tipsy Bob, 60 points, which he has won last week Silverstone. Then we have Statpants, Futuristic Papa, Tassi Snappy, and Lavi Fasole, Barasin Yoda, Keyboard Magnus and Larson, Sode, Wimpy, Wamski, Radeos, Mousy Gaming, Crimsonio, and Vambits. So yeah, it's looking a very championship fight between Tipsy Bob and Motocrosser.
Yeah, sorry to introduce you, Fede, but as you were speaking about Hungary being a track that's difficult to overtake on, I just heard back from the drivers reporting that we are expecting a wet race, full wet race.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, driving on Hungary can be tricky in the wet. So I was about to ask you before I read the weather report that we are expecting a wet rain. I was about to discuss the strategy for you because in the previous versions of the game on this track, mediums in qualifying used to be the way to go if you wanted to gain some positions in the race. But obviously with the wet race, we're gonna expect everyone to qualify on softs, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I remember at least last year, which at least for me, I qualified with medium because actually was a very good strategy, medium part. But as you may see last week, yesterday's stream, nobody qualified with mediums.
Oh, we have a retirement, so
Yeah,
something
Nebulati.
going on.
So now we have Flavi Fasole, which is in the hot trap, 27.1, sector 1, not a bad sector, and Lavi Fasole, which was tier 4 driver, now is in tier 3 since last week, I think, 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I mean, with the rain, it's even more tricky track, this one. It's not definitely one of the easiest on the calendar.
Yeah. And I think Bunce is about to finish his first lap. If I recall correctly, he was the first car out. And
Yeah, it's fun.
he's about to cross the finish line. So maybe, Fede, if you can talk us through what would you expect to be a good qualifying time on this track?
Good qualifying on this track, I would say, by the way, Lavi Fasole now 116.0. For tier 3, I would expect, I mean, yesterday there was, pole was 15.3. I would expect maybe a 14.9, 14.8.
Oh, I see. I mean, we have Motocrosser with 15.6 on his first run, so I'm gonna assume there's some room to improve that. And
Indeed.
yeah, as that tire wear gets better on the track when there is more rubber laid down, even just that can gain him this free tens. And see how it goes. So we have yellow flag in sector 2. Oh, it was the Ferrari slowing down,
And
letting
also,
other drivers by. So I believe who was it? It was Bowman in the Ferrari. Okay.
yeah. And also from what I know, Wimpy has been practicing along for this track, so I expect some good racing from him tonight.
Can you mention again the driver's name?
Wimpy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is his first race back, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he had a break due to a couple of weeks with the electricity issues. But it's nice to see him back on track.
Yeah, definitely. And also now tips about 116.5. And I want to see now Ace Boy, which is tier 2 driver, but we know for now he hasn't done very, very well. Probably we know he's sometimes an unlucky driver, so hopefully he's gonna get a very good race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs to nail the sector 3. Schnelle was off track, giving him plenty of space. There's yellows in sector 3, but this is because of Schnelle, and he has last corner to go. I think he went it very tight, so it's gonna hurt his exit. Luckily, on the qualifying lap, you don't need a lot of exit speed, exit speed, but it looked like he slowed down. So maybe he aborted the lap. He wasn't quite happy with it.
Yeah, maybe. And also, yeah, I mean, now there is Smithy, which is a reserve driver. And also, I mean, today we have a full grid. And we have Mipo, which is quite worried to see him in Mercedes because usually he drives with the
Drives
Haas.
Yeah.
And now Smith gonna finish the lap P4, 15.8.
Yeah, Wimpy slotting in P2 with 15.7.
Yeah.
So back after the break, but straight to competing for the top spots. I mean, front row in the wet weather might be especially useful. But the problem with this track in the wets that if you are gonna qualify on the pole position, you're gonna be outside into turn one. So you're still gonna need a very good start to keep your P1 in the wet, because the driver who is gonna be P2 is going to be on the inside, which very helps with overtaking. So maybe Wimpy is still okay with P2, but I mean there are still 11 minutes left in the lobby. And,
Yeah, definitely. And also, I would like to say, like, I mean, as you say, being wet is very, very important to qualify at least on the top. So, yeah, definitely in P1. But, I mean, this track was also on dry conditions. Very important to qualify at the top because there aren't too many spots which you can overtake. Essentially, there is the main straight. And, yeah, I mean, just sector 1. Sector 2 and Sector 3, they are very technical sectors, so it's quite difficult to overtake there.
Yeah, I mean this track to overtake, I think you also need a good ERS management. It's not just pure pace. I think you need to choose your battles wisely because there are not many overtaking spots, and like overtakes from time to time can be risky.
Yeah, definitely. And now Motocrosser in the hot lap, just go on board with him.
Yeah, and also meanwhile Mipo is starting his first lap because I believe he invalidated, but we can also follow Motocrosser. So let's see what's gonna be.
Motocrosser.
Slight improvement.
Yeah, quite improvement. Purple for a side throw. He is quite tricky because the curves are very, very dangerous, as I said yesterday. And here you have this little chicane, which you need to stay very, very close to the curb and not hit them.
Maybe he could take more curb.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well. Now, here it's quite difficult to ride fast under, but yeah, it's slightly improving, I think. Yeah, I got some correction, as you can see. And now here, you need to struggle with the understeer, and after approaching the last corner, you need to stay close to the right, but even here, a lot of understeer. And now we're in the main straight, and it's across the line. 15.4, 2 times up.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there was a lot of space that he left over in Sector 3 on his first lap, because that's where he gained time. And meanwhile, Wimpy actually, he was on a lap as well. But I just noticed on the Delta, he was down 10th and a half, while Motocrosser was crossing the line. So I think Wimpy decided to abort the lap, so maybe he will have time to squeeze in 2 more laps instead of 1. So I think he still has some time. Oh, and actually, meanwhile, we had Larsson DNFing without setting a time. So we have another driver who crashed out.
And also, on the chat, Joel said Fede predict who will win. I don't want to jinx anyone, to be honest, so I'm just saying motocross is looking very, very strong from the qualifying, but you need to be consistent on the race. But yeah, I don't want to curse anybody, so let's see who's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, there's still long race to go, especially in the wet. It's gonna take some time. And driver we mentioned before, Mepo, is in P9 with his first lap, and that was actually valid, and he's about to pit now. He almost blocked another Red Bull driver, Aceboy, who is also finishing his lap. Let's see if he's gonna improve.
And now there is Hanky, which is like that once is giving the toe. And Aceboy, yeah, P2. And now I'm watching Stan Henke, which is a little bit of tow from Taskbans, but that's not very good
I mean, Bunce is
for
also on the
sector
lap, so
2 and
he's
3.
giving him dirty
Oh
air.
yeah, that's true.
Bunce is not gonna let him go.
I mean, it was improving sector 1 3/10s, and now he's still on 3/10, so maybe he's gonna attack the pole. But here they're very close, so that's gonna be very interesting. And yeah,
That's so unfortunate for Schnelle.
oh
Bunce spinning
no,
just in front of
yeah.
him, almost taking him out.
And yeah, yes, definitely lost some tenths here. Yeah, it should
Schnelle
up.
managed to recover the 2 10s, but this is not enough to jump into front row because Futuristic also sits at 15.4. So we have 3 drivers in the 15.4. Look how close they
and
are.
Wamsky retired.
Oh, also retirement from Wansky. Where is it on track? Oh, it looks like in the pits actually. Oh no, never mind. This is in just the ending on of sector 2. So we have Tipsy on the lap, but he's gonna cross next to Wansky's car. Hopefully it's still not on track because there are some yellow flags. Yeah, looks like his car is already
And Pluto
taken
was
care of.
improving 1/10 and is invited a lap. Yeah, I mean, speaking about Meepo, yes, a very good race. Yesterday was close to the podium, but he got a penalty, so he ended in P5 if I'm right. So yeah, in this track he has definitely some pace. Hopefully it's gonna be a very good race. And yeah, Pluto, well, it's improving 5/10, but unluckily it's invited lap. But I think that Hank has some tenths.
I mean, he has the pace to contest. I mean, I'm not quite sure if this incident with Bunce cost him some time or not, because he had a dirty air throughout sector 2 and 3 and almost crashed in the last corner.
Oh, and let me pass the span. The chicane was in the outlaw. Yes, sir.
Unfortunate, but he's gonna have to cool down his tires to maybe still set a time, because he's not gonna have time to pit and get another set of tires, most likely.
Yeah,
Or
means
maybe
4 minutes to go, so I probably will go for another shot.
Yeah, if he pits now, but he can't complete the next lap if he wants to set a time on this set still.
And now there's Wimpy, which is in the hot lap, and he's improving almost 1/10 now. Here went a little bit wide, and in fact he aborted the lap.
Maybe he invalidated. It looked like
no, he didn't.
He just gave up. Oh, he didn't. It looked
yeah,
like
he just
gave up on the lap.
Go wide and yeah.
It's not invalidated. I mean, maybe he wants to get another set of softs and try again.
Yeah, maybe. And yeah, I mean, who do we have on the hot lap? Yeah, Meepo, which is improved 5/10, second purple sector. And now he's approaching the last sector, which is very difficult because the understeer, but he's doing very well. That was a very good exit. I wonder if he's using traction. Yeah, I think so. And Meepo 15.6.
So look again, it's costing Schnelle more positions, that Bunce incident or like the dirty air from a lap before. We have 8boy on the lap. He just started it, so let's see if he's gonna be able to secure pole. Let's stick to the onboard with him. DRS on, first main straight. Some traffic up ahead.
Oh, and Wimpy, by the way, retired. On try, I think we're gonna see now maybe Span.
Oh yeah, he crashed out our AI to cover actually. So I'm not sure what happened there. But 8boy is on a lap, and that I think is quite important.
Yeah, he's not actually improving.
Yeah, but maybe probably the sectors where you can gain most time is sector 3 at the ending of sector 2. So let's see if he's gonna catch some advantage here, especially through this tight right-hander that you need to carry a lot of speed. You need to be very brave on this right-hander, and then you have heavy braking just to navigate last couple of corners into sector 3. Engine braking into the penultimate corner, and if he's gonna improve It looked like he's trying to set a time. He's not pitting to save the tires. Of course, there's a wet race and there's main straight. Looks quite okay to me. And this is 15.3, so this is pole for now. But Motocrosser is starting his own lap and he is of course looking at the big message on top of his screen that his opponent just beat his time on. And he also almost spun. Schnelle give him space while Schnelle is on an outlap, but this was much better entry into sector 2. Despite the spin earlier, it looked better than on his 15.4 run. So again, this tight, fast right-hander running to carry a lot of speed. It looks slower than Ace Boy.
And there was no tire on the track, by the way.
It's improving by
yeah, it's improving 2 tenths.
Motocrosser is going for the pole. A bit of a lockup into the penultimate corner, but it looks fast enough. It looks like he's struggling on traction a little bit, but still setting up fast times. And nice exit into the last corner, and it's 15.2. So yeah, he's actually a battle for pole. Who else? We have Pluto actually jumping in P4. We have, I mean, plenty of drivers right now are out on the track setting up their last time. And I think, like the driver to watch right now for me is Nele, because I think he's a couple of tenths down from the front runners, but he had these issues on his previous lap, so I think there is some room for improvement for him.
Probably it's not going to improve for sector because because he got a little bit of tow the previous run, so I thought he was not going to improve.
Yeah, I think the improvement will be in sector 2 and 3, so we should keep an eye on him. I mean, Mepo retires.
Yeah, I think he crashed. Or,
I mean,
no,
he was going slow, so I think it's retired.
So yeah, let's keep an eye on Snare Hank and after on Futuristic. So now he's going to the right fast thunder. He carried a little bit, and now meanwhile there is tire
it's
on
improving
track.
by a tenth, so it might not be enough, but let's look at sector 3.
As you have seen before, it was on sector 3, which he has lost some tenths.
Yeah,
so it's not impossible. Yeah, that was nicely done, and he's gonna cross the line. 15.4 P3.
So just a 2 tenths.
And now there's Futuristic, which is improving 1 tenth on sector 2. And he's in P4. Also... I think he's the last guy who can attack the pole, and now he's on the straight. And we have even pole!
My god! What a battle for pole position. So actually the drivers were really trying to snag this front row for the wet race. And I mean, the gloves are off. Drivers are going all in. There was a lot of improvements on the time board in the end of the session. Drivers warming up, and I think what we need to look at right now is how this will carry over to the wet race, because actually some drivers might have wrong setups for the occasion. You know, always the dry setup is gonna be good in the quali.
Yeah, and
I'm
also, I mean, the qualifying, I mean, the setup I don't think is gonna be a problem. And by the way, yeah, I'm gonna go. Futuristic takes the full Motocrosser and Ace Boy, the top 3. And I was about to say, for the qualifying, I mean, in this track, it's not a problem about the setup, even if it is wet race, because you in the wings in this track mostly like are 11-11. So you go with the max downforce, so I don't think it affects too much your race, even if it is wet. But as you can see, I mean, it's a lot of rain.
Yeah, it's a lot of dump patches. So I think the drivers will have to be on top of their game for plenty of time, and they need to keep their focus and keep their front wings safe, especially, I think, because I think avoiding any damage in the wet will be a key, because if you have some pace and even if you have a slight damage, it's gonna be difficult to prove that you have the space. You don't want any additional pit stop.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we should see. I mean, I don't think it's very important. Look in the tires. I mean, nobody went for the soft or medium, so that's a thing. And we have Lavi Fasole, which went with for the wet tires.
So maybe we are on a crossover, but usually when you have one driver choosing a different tire, he's the one in the wrong. But we're gonna see if Lavi
Well,
Fasole made a
but
huge mistake or if he's the genius one.
I mean, as you can see, it's a lot of rain, so maybe, and we don't know if the rain is gonna be heavier lap
We
by
actually
lap.
have Mossy with some issues on the formation lap. He's in the back. But hopefully he will recover. I mean, maybe he's already struggling in the wet because if you look at the track, to me it looks like full wet conditions. It doesn't look like intermediates. So
And also, I mean, Mousy Game is a keyboard driver, so I mean,
yeah, that's correct. Like for the keyboard drivers, this is going to be a nightmare because especially on this track, you need to be quite precise with some of the fast corners, especially. I believe it's turn 4, the uphill left-hander. That's the blind apex. And it's very difficult, especially in the wet, because you need to carry enough speed to have a good exit, but also not to go wide and get the track invalidation warnings, which if you get too many, you will get a 3-second penalty, which of course you don't want in case of a late safety cars or any shenanigans later in the race.
yeah. And I have a question: how many retirement today?
I think we're gonna have a clean race actually.
I think we're gonna
trust the
get
tier
5 DNF. I hopefully it's
I
gonna
think
be
we're
a
gonna
clean
get
race.
3.
Yeah, but you know, 5
I mean, we
DNF.
actually. Okay, we'll see. Fingers crossed. Do you want to kick us off, Fede?
Okay.
As we have last drivers lining up on the grid. 11 DNFs from Hammer and 4 safety cars, but I'm gonna leave the start of the race to you, Fede.
Yeah, okay. I'm not very good on the start of the race, also because 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and when Pluto and Mosico went with the
There are some
drive-through,
jump
and
starts.
yeah, and away we go with a good start of Futuristic, I think. Well, not really, because now Motor Cars takes the P1 and someone is waving. That was me hitting. But now Ace Boy is taking the outside. They're side by side into turn 3, I think it is. And now it's gonna take the inside, and I think that's gonna be easy overtake. And Futuristic dropped to 2 positions, which is now in P3, but it seems like a clean start. And Mousy Gaming and Larson got the drive-through for jump start, and Larson went a little bit wide, probably got a contact. And
I mean,
also
sorry to interrupt you,
Hanky.
but I need to point out that Band actually gained 9 positions on the start. So he's up P7 and he started outside, he started like top 15, top 16, battling Wimpy. Pluto is going quite slow, so
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
already
and
a large gap building.
Snell Hanky's down now 16 places. I don't know what happened to him.
Maybe some crash that we missed. Doesn't look like he has damage.
Yeah.
Or does he?
No, it doesn't look like.
No damage, so maybe he has some spin. But just to point out again, if you look at the top 3, there's actually quite a large gap between Pluto and everyone else. So we also have, it's gonna be difficult for drivers to catch up, and Ace Boy with the early start actually managed to start building himself a lead quite early on. Not just like from the top 4 drivers, but from Motocrosser and Futuristic. And I mean, if nothing spectacular gonna happen, I think this 3 will battle out for the podium. But we have 3 drivers in the pits already.
And there
Lars,
are
and Mepo.
Tasman, Life Assault, Tilda, and Tasman, they were 3 on side by side, but I want to see how the wet stars are gonna work with Life Assault now. I mean, it's currently B9, so it doesn't seem too bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we are at a point which these tires work equally well. I mean, he needs to prove it. I mean, he's actually losing some time to Nebletic, and not by much, but the gap is still manageable. But Tiled is gonna be on the lookout to try to overtake him.
I mean, going on board with Ace Boy, you can see, I mean, the rain, it's light rain. So yeah, I think the Inters in this moment are looking the best tires, but I don't know.
Oh, tiled overtaking Lavi
Oh,
Fasala
and
because
Pluto
Lavi
retired.
actually went wide.
Oh, we're gonna get safety car. He crashed on the right fast under. So, no, we're not gonna get any safety car, I think.
Lavi Fasala is actually pitting. I mean, maybe he thought that his wet tires are not working, and maybe he actually expected a safety car to come out, but just no luck for him when Pluto crashed out. It might be a good timing for Lavi Fasol to switch his timing, but no,
Yeah,
he's
same with
gonna
the Inters. Like also.
still need to pray for safety car to recover into this race. But I think Tiled is gonna just say thank you for that and carry on.
I mean,
He has
every
some
looking
catching up to do.
very nice seems like to stop. It looks like because also I'm watching Ace Boy. It's improving a lot, lap by lap. So maybe we're gonna get a try race at the end. I don't know, but looks like.
I mean, to me, it looks like it's still raining, so conditions are quite consistent since lap 1. And situation on track, Wimpy is actually struggling a little bit. Vamsky is quite close to him.
I mean, there are some sections with this seem like the rain needs
Goes out wide,
light.
hopefully no warning for that.
And also, yeah, I mean, Ace Boy is tier 2 driver, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected, but he had a really good start and
Yeah.
now showing up his pace.
And also, I mean,
lap after fastest lap.
Ace Boy, like, quality is that he can recover a lot of battery and is fast, and he's fast as well, also without deploying too much battery. So, a lot of time I fight a lot with him, like in tier 4, when I was in tier 4, and sometimes in tier 2, and I mean, it's very difficult having a battle with him because, like, you're deploying a lot of battery, and after, if he's just with the 90%.
Yeah, I just want to point one thing that I noticed. If you spectate Wamsky a bit,
Yeah.
you're gonna see that he's carrying much more speed than Wimpy through the corners, and this might be the setup difference I was talking about a bit before. That on the straight, Wimpy is actually slightly pulling away, and you can see how close Wamsky is getting to Wimpy through the long, fast pit corners, and he's very close, like especially considering these are wet conditions with some dirty air. He's being able to follow quite closely. Look at this in sector 2, slow corners, and he is glued to his gearbox. So, and yeah, as I was saying that, Aceboy had an issue because he lost a second of a gap to Motocrosser. And Motocrosser almost spinning. So there's, I think the battle for the top 3 positions is still not settled. If Aceboy gonna continue to make such mistakes.
Well, yeah, I mean, shouldn't go between Motocross and Ace Boy. Maybe Motocross is gonna try the move here. I don't think so. So, because without the DRS, it's gonna be even more difficult on this track to overtake. And
Motocrosser trying the inside line, but the curb is quite slippery.
by the way, Chief, on just a driver saying it tries at the end.
Oh, so I think then it might be interesting with the strategy if someone's gonna try to stay out on Inters. And maybe like the setups will come play later in the race, but so it seems like we are still not settled and we might be in for a good ending.
Yeah, I mean, we got one DNF so far, and I mean, I don't know what happened to Meeple because he's in P18 and he started in P6, if I remember well.
It has to be some incident on lap 1. And that one's actually, which I said he had a really good start when he jumped in P7. I think he lost some positions because of the connection issues. So if you look at him, he's disconnected right now, driving as a ghost. So I think it's such a shame that his good start gets taken away from him. with some
Mm.
connection issues, but it is what it is, and hopefully he will be able to reconnect or take control of his car,
Yeah, and
because
now
otherwise he's gonna drop down a bit.
and we have also now Ace by Motocross and Futuristic, which they are very, very close, but I mean, it's very difficult over there. So that's why P1 was very, very important on the wet conditions. So yeah, I mean, Ace by now is looking very, very good. But I mean, we're just on lap 6, so anything can happen.
Schnelle on Beaumont dives in turn 1. What a dive, what a send from Schnelle actually. That was very brave under braking, and Domon, I mean, maybe he could just turn in on him and close the door, but decided to play it safe. And Schnelle actually pulling a very nice overtake in the wet. So this was some bravery, some Daniel Ricciardo style overtake. The confidence on the brakes on that man.
Yeah. And with now Futuristic, which is actually very, very close. Yeah, I mean, in the wet condition. Oh, and
Oh,
Bauman
a
retired.
DNF from Bauman.
Are we gonna get
What happened
safety car
there?
now? Yes, the full safety car.
Safety car.
And
He
then what I
crashed.
want to tell you is now, like, if he's gonna try it, then there are gonna be even more laps because with
Yeah,
the safety car, everything just slower. So yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. And Aceboy decided not to pit. I think.
Well, I mean, I think it's the right
too early.
decision. Yeah. I mean, I think nobody's gonna pit. And I was saying, yeah, in
Actually, if I'm at the back like Lavi Fasolis, I would pit. Just because I have no positions to lose, right? But then I can get a fresh tires to get some chances at overtaking people ahead of me who have tires like 7 laps old.
yeah,
So if I'm
it's true.
Larsson or Lavi Fasol, even if it makes no sense right now to have a fresh tires, I mean they could pit just so they can have fresh tires and possibly make them last till end of the wet part of the race. So this could be a nice chance. And we actually have some drivers doing that. So you have Tipsy, Keyboard, and Larsson. As I said, Larsson was in the back, so he has nothing to lose and everything to gain with this pit. So I think it's a no-brainer actually to pit now under safety car for a fresh tire and try to make this stint last until the rains comes out. I mean, until the rain stops. So
Yeah.
the opposite of more rain.
Anti-touring, come on. Yeah, it is true. And yeah, I mean, true enough. And yeah, for a safety car, yeah, I mean, Bob, as you say, the speed is so. Yeah, I mean, for Larson, well, yeah, even Larson, I was meant Lavi Fasole. Like, I mean, he has 3 laps of either, so I don't think like he has too much tire. So, but I mean, yeah, yes, he could have beat because I mean he was last, so it would affect his race even with the safety car. But yeah, for sure.
Futuristic span under the safety car. Ocean Chief mentioned that in the chat. Thank you, Chief. So now Futuristic is
and he's
after
pitting,
spinning.
yeah. That's
I think maybe
unlucky
he
for
has
him.
damage.
Yeah, I think so. Looking how he's.
Thank you for catching that, Chief. I think this is gonna be unfortunate because he was looking at the podium right now, and the gap that Aceboy, Motocrosser, and Futuristic built early into the race is completely denied with that safety car, so they will have to start over. And Futuristic will have to start over actually from the almost very end of the grid, because I think only Larsson's gonna be behind him when he comes out.
Yeah, and I think safety car will be in this lap probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more because Larsson is still quite away, but I mean plenty of time to catch up as well.
Well, I mean, usually like after 3 laps, the safety car come into the pit, so.
I think it usually, correct me if I'm wrong, comes when their last driver joins the grid.
Yes, but I don't literally know. I mean, this game is weird, so yeah, sometimes it works and sometimes, yeah.
Pluto in the chat's mentioning that he had an issue with the clutch on the start, so that's why he got a drive-through. But Pluto, I don't want to make it worse for you, but maybe you can walk us through what happened that you DNF'd. Did you had some issues with just the traction, or was there some incident on track that we missed?
Yeah, you want to make him feel worse.
Yeah,
You're a
if you
very
can let
bad.
us know.
Yeah, you're a very bad person.
I see. I think it looks like safety car is out for another lap because
Yeah, looks like so. Yeah.
still didn't manage to catch
No,
up.
no safety car in this
Oh, in
lap.
this lap. Okay,
Yeah, I
actually, that's
told you.
quite.
I've told you.
It's very late.
Yeah, that's
Late
very
notice
late. I think nobody would
because
expect
Ace
such
Boy
a
doesn't have
late
time to
safety
back
car.
up the grid, so he will. Let's see what he does
Yeah,
on
let's
the
see.
restart.
Yeah.
So he goes on the throttle
Oh, that
right
was
away.
quite
Not really.
slow.
And Motocrosser is
And
gonna
probably we're
overtake
gonna get
him.
side by side motocrosser. Ace Boy motocrosser is gonna take the outside. They're very close side by side into turn one. But probably motocrosser didn't want to risk it. Well, probably is gonna try the switchback. As they are still side by side, motocrosser now in the inside, which will be after outside. But yeah, I mean Ace Boy very good on the brakes, and yeah, as you said before, I mean especially on the wet condition, you need to be very good on the brakes. You need to be confident of what your skills are and your driving style. And yeah, and Pluto stated in chat we were having a monumental fight with Meepo, I think. And
Also, that's why Mipo had to pit very early.
yeah,
Unfortunate, Pluto. Hopefully, you will get a good race in next week, or in tier 2.
or in tier one.
Fingers crossed for you. Or tier 1. Always a chance to go no assist gank. But back to the race, we have close racing between the McLarens, but by the looks of it, Vance is still having some connection issues, and his teammate overtakes him.
Oh yeah, that's unlucky. And also speak about Wimpy. Oh no, Wimpy I think spun.
Oh, and he's in the wall.
I mean,
he lost his front.
luckily I didn't speak about it because I was saying Wimpy's looking very good. It was in P5. So yeah, luckily I didn't say anything. So, but yeah, I mean that's unlucky. Is he gonna beat? He's sliding a little bit, and yeah, he's beating now.
I mean, he has to, with the probably both end plates of his front wing missing, and there's also an athletic who had to beat. Maybe there was some incident between these two, but right after the restart, if you look at Aceboy and Motocrosser, they are again already pulling away. Zot is trying to catch up, and Smithy and Zot actually are still trying to match the pace, so they are trying to catch this breakout group.
And now also with Meepo, Futuristic, which is now in P11, and he spun and he was last, so now in P11, that's very good.
Also from the tires, because some drivers behind him had much older tires, so overtaking them was maybe not an issue, especially with Bunce and Radios being disconnected, so maybe that's why he gained back some few positions quite quickly. And now he's on to Keyboard Magnussen, who is known to be a very good defender. It's never easy to go past him.
Yeah, and also he's a keyboard driver as well, and he's quite fast to be on the keyboard. But now Futuristic is very close. He's gonna take the toe, but it's not powerful with the rain, and even because keyboard has the slipstream as well. But Futuristic is gonna try to move on the outside. No, actually, keyboard is trying to move on Mousy Gaming. So keyboard drivers are fighting in this moment.
We have Ferrari crashing. It's Futuristic who spun again out of turn 1. So he's
we have virtual safety car.
Yeah, I think it's because Futuristic just hit a wall.
Yeah, and so he's without the wing.
Yeah, so definitely he's not enjoying the wet weather today.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, right now, in order to recover, I think he's gonna need another safety car or a good pit window into the dry conditions.
Oh, and Tito got
Oh,
struck through.
out. No, unlucky for him. And he was doing so well in P6.
Oh, and Smithy went to the cross a little bit. He lost a position compared to Wamsky, which is in P4 Wamsky. Yesterday S1 on tier 4. He showed a very great pace, and now I mean he's in P4 in tier 3. And we
Yeah,
actually
they are
have
back to racing.
Ace, yeah, and we have Ace Boy, which is, yeah, I mean, is not like pulling away fastly, but I mean, he's doing very, very well so far. And
Styled pits to sail the drive-through.
and I mean, how do
Right
you
away.
think like the rain? It seems like lighter than before, or
Yeah, I think we have less rain already.
I-
So maybe it doesn't look like it's gonna dry up anytime soon, but definitely less rain. That you can see it on the lap times that the driver's fastest lap of Ace Boy is improved over last 5 or 6 laps, so he keep beating his previous fastest lap, and
Mipo,
still
by the way,
continuing.
is very, very close to Tipsy Bob. So
Oh yeah, in
we're
P7,
gonna
so
see a
actually
fight.
nice recovery drive from the early crash. And following very closely, so maybe Mipo has a wet setup, I'm not sure, but I noticed on the deltas that it's been going for quite a while, and just behind them, Schnelle overtaking Lavi Fasol. I think it's again because of this tire difference. And a second ago it looked like Lavi Fasol is gonna overtake Keyboard, but Schnelle slotted in just in between them, taking advantage of that. Of Lavi Fasole having worse tires.
And I mean, if you want to speak about the championship, he's looking very well for motocrosser, because he actually have 82 points. So if he's gonna be finished like this, he will get 100 points.
Yeah, and he also took the fastest lap away from Ace Boy.
Yeah, and so that would be 101 points. And Tipsy Bob is in P6. And P6, how many points? It's 8 points.
Yeah.
So it would be 68 points after this race. But Nebletti stole the fastest lap
yeah, I
to
think he
motocrosser.
So also these are the fresh tires helping him with that.
Yeah, but I mean now it's not the moment to look the fastest time, because if we are gonna see dry conditions, these times will be definitely smashed.
Yeah, and oh, Schnelle almost hitting the keyboard in the back in the turn 5. It looked very close, and Schnelle actually managed to prevent any incident from happening, and he's following quite closely. Same for Mipo. It's gonna be very difficult. This right-hander, very fast, the dirtier in the wet, and probably the next corner after that is when you want to overtake, but you need such a good exit to the corner before you have a chance. And meanwhile we also have quite a nice battle for
and
the
it has
last
spun again.
Oh no, unfortunate. So we have a couple of drivers actually struggling with this changing conditions, because it's not just wet, it's starting to rain less and less. So it looks like in sector 2 it's very little rain, but in sector 1 there's still more raindrops. Schnelle trying dive again, but Keyboard is having none of that, and it's actually costing Schnelle some time, because Lavi Fasol is catching up to him.
I mean, and Larston now is gonna try to move on the outside. Late braking, no, is not right. But I mean, yeah, as you say, a lot of people are struggling with the changing conditions. But I mean, you know, in those conditions, like lap by lap, you have to adapt to the new weather, so to the new track, let's say.
Yeah, because each lap you're gonna drive a bit differently. So especially, of course, there's not many of those, but there are still some no-assist drivers who need to adapt each lap and try to predict how the change of conditions gonna affect the way they drive. And Motocrosser is again quite close to Ace Boy at the ending of Sector 2, but it might not be enough to get a good run out of last corner. Yeah, just look at the Ace Boy, so much better on traction, and burning
And
some
we got a
battery is
yellow
not much
flag
of
in
a help.
sector 3, by the way.
But Schnelle
That
losing
was
some
Nav.
positions, so he spun, I believe.
And probably he's gonna beat now. The blood is past him, and
Yeah, he had a good recovery drive for
no,
some
he's
time,
not.
but
I mean,
now
he's
by
not
the
beating.
looks of it, yeah. So I mean, this is kind of the story of the race. There is a driver having to recover. They do recover and they spin again.
Yeah,
Did you notice
definitely.
that? I
Yeah.
mean, you just had some crash. You are working so hard to recover, and as we speak, we have Larson battling with keyboard, and then we have this fast uphill left-hander, and by the looks of it, Larson is not gonna try it because, of course, it's so risky. Keyboard almost runs wide, but this is just close enough, and the battle is gonna continue into the
I
next
mean,
lap. And
also,
Lavi,
I know how bad it is when you have the feeling that you are struggling every lap. So, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, lucky. And yeah, I mean, you need to work very, very a lot on the consistency, so on race pace. And yeah, that's what you have to do.
yeah, and also worth mentioning because this race has been a story of failed recovery drives, but the only driver that still didn't fail his recovery drive, hopefully I'm not gonna jinx him, is Mepo, still close to Tipsy. But again, we have a battle between Larsson and Keyboard Magnussen.
Yeah, because
Out of the last corner, Keyboard goes quite wide. Larsson took the inside line, and it looks like he had a better exit, but Keyboard maybe gonna get some slipstream, and inside line for turn one is gonna break late enough. Not quite. I think Larsson is giving him space when he doesn't need to, but he still gets a nice exit, and it looks like this discussion is settled for a while. Larsson will have some free air to maybe get away, because by the looks of it, Larsson was the faster driver out of these two, and now Levi Fatola is gonna try to hunt Keyboard again.
yeah, I mean, speak about Meepo, you say right. I mean, he didn't messed up with anything so far because, I mean, he just got a lucky collision with Pluto, as we have seen on chat. So, and Keyboard, it's looking like he has a damage.
Maybe he's just struggling, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
maybe, yeah.
that would
I
be
mean,
my bet, because
it's understandable, to be
there
honest.
is no visual damage on his car. But he's known to be a good defender, so even with Lavi Fasel behind him trying to get that last available point,
And Meepo said the
he might
fastest
still be
time, by
able
the
to
way,
secure.
with 16 laps of Inter, so probably the Inters are still
I
in a
think it
good
was Ace Boy actually.
condition.
You meant Meepo or Ace Boy? Sorry.
Ace Boy.
Oh yeah. But Meepo is actually having a really good pace, but he's trouble overtaking Tipsy. For this has been
Well, I
happening
mean,
for multiple laps now.
the funny thing is
Lavi
that,
Fasol into turn one.
oh yeah,
Keyboard blocks him quite well. Lavi Fasol will try to switch back, and he actually managed to do it quite well. Can he catch the traction? Does so. Now has outside line into turn two. Is it gonna be good enough? Keyboard needs to leave him some space. They're going wheel to wheel. What a beautiful racing in the wet. Very brave on the next corner. Now we have the difficult uphill section. Who's gonna back out of it? Looks like Keyboard is upright to go into the blind apex, the blind left-hander, which is understandable. And what clean battle between these two. It wasn't an easy task to drive out like 3-4 corners wheel to wheel without any issues.
yeah.
So kudos to these drivers showing us that Tier 3 can race cleanly. And Meepo on Tipsy has a good exit and dives on the inside. There is some contact wheel banging. Tipsy takes the outside line and defends quite well, but Meepo is not giving up. He takes the outside now, leaves very little space to Tipsy, but just enough. But he's gonna take an inside of the last corner. Tipsy gets an early advantage, but I think he goes too early on the throttle. And
I got a
catches
contact
Meepo.
Meepo, no!
He
Probably,
hits the wall, but
I'm definitely sure he's gonna get at least a light damage, and that's gonna affect this race.
no visual damage. Maybe
Yes,
he
but
got
light
locked out.
damage, yeah, and it's gonna affect a lot. We're gonna see if he's gonna pit or
It's
it's just
Larsson on Mossy.
my impression.
Mossy tries the switchback. Let's see if he's gonna manage to recover
No,
like
definitely
keyboard.
not.
Larsson is pushing through the field. So Larsson is now again having some fresh air to breathe in. And Motocrosser is like on and off with Aceboy from what I noticed. They're like, Aceboy used to pull away 1 second gap a few laps ago, and now they are
And
still back.
as you can see, I mean, watching the ERS, Aceboy and Motocrosser with the same ERS, both on
Yeah, they are
100%.
saving a lot. And meanwhile, we also have a battle in the back between Futuristic and Wimpy. I think it's not really benefiting any of them. What they should do is they both have. I think they should have fresh tire. Let me check actually, really quickly. Yeah, relatively fresh. So they should be actually helping each other to recover into the race instead of battling each other. But it's on to them to settle that. Who wants to lead recovery from them? But we've seen some Alfa Romeo drivers having to push through the traffic of keyboard drivers and mostly pitting now. So does Smithy. It means that Alfa Romeo drivers will still have some free air now to show their pace.
Oh, and Smith is gonna with the soft.
Already, it looks like it's gonna
No,
be too early.
I don't think it's a right decision, but now. Oh, that was.
No, it's still raining. It's definitely too early. He's
Yeah, I
gonna
want
struggle
to
in
see.
turn one. Maybe it's a misclick or some kind of mistake.
Yeah. Well, that's fancy with the. Well, I mean, buns. Yeah, with the mediums. And now some
Like,
guys are pitting for the. Oh, DRS
DRS
enabled.
while it's still raining, actually.
Yeah, it's still raining.
So it's actually bigger brain from Smithy because he was first one to pit. So if he manages to have a couple of clean laps in,
Well, I mean, look now. I want to see sectors.
But he's
It's
actually
gaining.
not catching up.
No, well, it's gaining a lot in this moment. You can see 8/10 on a turn, on a corner.
Oh yeah, actually I was looking at the wrong delta.
Yeah,
so
and Aceboy and Motocross are pitting, but I mean, from the stream, it doesn't look like it's completely
Do you think
dry.
that top is actually a good call here because he's clearly gonna have to pit again?
15 laps.
15 laps.
I think I would have pit for the mediums and Aceboy with the hinters.
Oh.
And Motocross with the mid, I think that was a misclick from Aceboy. No way to go with the hinters.
So Aceboy clearly didn't get a memo about the weather conditions from Jeff.
Definitely.
And, I think it means that.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Sorry, I want to finish the. I would like to say I would go for the mediums because yeah, I mean the soft you cannot do 15 laps. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean 15 laps from your soft tire is a stretch, but look at Aceboy, he's actually pulling away from Motocrosser on those inters. So I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah,
Maybe
but I mean,
just...
look, no rain.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna have to pit this or next lap. I mean we are exactly at the crossover where you can probably drive on. Mossy also on inters. So there's a lot of happening on track, and it's very difficult to track because there are some position changes. Smithy right now is in P5. How did he do that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because no, it was like P11, but he has pitted. So yeah, he went basically for the undercut, and now Aceboy struggling, and he lost the wing.
Oh, so now it's gonna cost.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely dry. That's a drama for the Red Bull driver.
Up to like Tipsy and Larsson, so he's still gonna be top 5, but it's like even getting into the pits is difficult for him right now. And Motocrosser is set to finish this race comfortably if he doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I mean,
always got a lot of free air, but this was indeed the best call.
Yeah, definitely.
And what do we have here? I'm wondering if penalty for Mossy for speeding, if Mipo is gonna carry the pace from his right tires, but with all of the chaos in pitting, Larsson managed to sneak in into
sorry about someone in chat said team stream that. Oh
It's
no,
working for
I mean
me.
it's working for me, so
Yeah, Hammer
okay,
just
it's
says
back.
it's back.
Okay, yeah.
But wow, this was a bit chaotic, and we are on to like completely new race, and there's some issues in sector 2 with the yellow flags. This is a Red Bull, so this is Aceboy actually. He had instant, I
Oh
think,
yeah,